So Mac Miller has always been an artist that has really involved within not only his sound, but also himself in general. And a lot of his mixtapes and albums he released were top notch, with Swimmy even competing against Travis Scott's Astroworld when it came out. And the figure with Mac's success and the unfortunate passing of his happening 6 years ago, I figured we'd go back to 2010 and check out his breakout fourth mixtape project, K.I.D.S, aka Kicking Incredibly Dope and go over this classic mixtape of his. Anyways, like, subscribe, follow all socials, and without further ado, let's get it. So before Mac's success, he always had a simple life as an artist, as with a mixtape such as this, he always talked about relatable things as a high schooler's life. Smoking, school, shoes, etc. And with this project being released in 2010, this is a mixtape that is a suitable classic among not only me, but for others as well. Most of the tracks are your run-of-the-mill sort of tracks where you can sort of vibe with, and with a lot of samples being produced on this mixtape, plus some simple bars coming from Mac, I do feel as though this is a great mixtape for any high schooler or college students, as you get a couple of songs on here like Senior Skip Day and The Spins being so relatable to high school. And there's a lot to take in with this 16-month track plus two bonuses on the deluxe version. But as we get started with the mixtape, first we got the first intro of the track, Kicking Incredibly Dope intro. I'm going to talk about this along with Face of the Crowd, as both of these two tracks use a scene from the film K.I.D.S, which ironically is the name of the mixtape, which has a good intro to it. Most of these tracks, like I mentioned, would have and contain a lot of chill, laid-back sample beats, as Mac raps a lot in this with sample beats included that are literally what he talks about from the title of the tracks. Example of this is track number 2, Outside, where he talks about the weather being nice while also rapping about smoking, something he talks about a lot in his discography. But I digress. This song, along with the bonus song similar, Hey, reminds me of like a Kid Cudi track off the Asano album, Blue Skies, as the lyrics are really positive and has a really good upbeaming light to it. And then we get to the next song, on track number 3, Get 'Em Up, has sort of 8-bit like Nintendo beat, and it has Mac rapping and talking about his life and what he's been about regarding his life that he's in right now when it was in 2010. Along with the next track, which is personally my favorite, Nike's on My Feet, and this song is simply my favorite off the track, simply because not only it samples Nas's The World Is Yours, but also Mac raps about shoes and lifestyle with it, and I'm pretty much a sneakerhead, to be honest, and this is like, if you think about it, a sneakerhead rap song, if you want to call it. But this is my favorite off of it. I like it. I like the beat, I like the sample, and I like Mac's rapping in this. Then we get to the next song, Senior Skip Day, which this is another like relatable song, which I already talked about, but this is being one of the examples of a relatable song, being, like I said, a senior skip day, and what it talks about with a catchy beat and with some trumpets here and there, casually Mac rapping about smoking and whatnot. Another relatable song that I'm also going to be talking about is track number 6, The Spins, featuring Empire of the Sun, which from the beat of the beat is pretty good, and with Mac's lyrics, it's not too crazy. It's just kind of plain and simple, but he does catch up with the beat, I ain't gonna lie, and it does pretty well. Not to mention, apparently he was high and drunk when he did this. Not to mention, he also said that apparently he just graduated high school, and that always gets to me, as I remember when I graduated high school not that too long ago, a lot of my friends really posted like their graduation, but had this song on their Instagram story or Instagram post in general, and it's, again, relatable song, and I can see why a lot of people put it as a song, honestly, just because he said he graduated high school, and it's a relatable song in that case. On to the next track, we got Don't Mind If I Do. This one samples a 2009 Fireflies by Owl City, which these lyrics low-key aging positively on Mac's career, being that this mixtape was like a groundbreaking and receiving well sort of mixtape, and it did pretty well. Speaking of, next one we got is track number 8, Paper Route, featuring Chevy Woods, and this track in particular has like a 2-in-1 meaning, which I kind of find and like, being the meaning of the track being like a paper route, trying to find paper and getting paper, but also like smoking paper, aka weed, something that Max talks about a lot in his lyrics, just smoking. But this one's a pretty good one, and Chevy Woods featuring on it is a really good one, with him on the hook and having a verse. He did really well on this. Then you get Good Evening. With this track, this feels more of like an intro track, to be honest. And with a speed sample of Drake's Night Off, this is a pretty good track, but it feels more like an intro track, but it doesn't mean anything. If anything, I just something to point out to me, but this one's a pretty good one. And then next one we got is Right Around. This one's another good one. Another sample of DJ DMD's classic 25 Light Years, along with the next track, Knock Knock, being a sample of Linda Scott's I've Told Every Little Star. I do like Knock Knock's ad libs on the hook, but as you can see, like I mentioned, a lot of these mixtapes have a lot of sample beats to it, and it's nothing crazy. It's nothing to take seriously, considering a lot of these rappers nowadays do be doing that. They be like taking samples and freestyling and adding it, changing it up. But with songs such as like Kool-Aid and Frozen Peace on track 13, this song in particular had a sample of Lord Finesse's hip to the track. And I was doing research when I was finding this, and apparently he got sued for this for $10 million, which I find kind of crazy to think about after all these years. But anyways, I'm going to move on to the next one. We got track 14, All I Want Is You. This one's a pretty good one. Him talking about his significant partner, which again really ages well around 2010. As if we look at nowadays, when he was alive, he was dating. I remember at the time, I think he was dating superstar Ariana Grande, and this is like sort of a age well sort of song, if you really want to call it, and it aged really positively, considering the fact a lot of the stuff that he talked about really did happen in his life. And we're going to talk about another, like I said, this song, Facing the Crowd. I already talked about it, but like I said, this song has the film Kids, it's like scene in it. And he talks about a lot of his success and balance. And again, one of the few songs that he actually achieved it as an artist. And I'm really proud of Mac Miller when he did that. And then we get the track 15, Poppy, is a song about Mac's late grandfather that passed. And once again, it's a sample off of Pete Rock's CL Smooth. And as for the two bonus tracks that were in this, A and Back in the Day, these are pretty good with, like I said, A being a positive bringing, and Back in the Day having this success and dreaming of this come up that Mac, in a couple years later, has now succeeded and is the artist we know today. And as for overall, this mixtape, like I mentioned, is a classic. It's a classic out of Mac Miller's, and it's a lot of relatable songs, a lot of samples to do with it, but in all honesty, it's a groundbreaking mixtape from him, and I really respect Mac Miller. It's one of the few like high school sort of songs where it's a good, like sort of chill, sort of relatable mixtape in a way. And shout out to Mac Miller, man. This is awesome. Awesome mixtape. But anyways, let me know what y'all thought about this. And if y'all like this, like, subscribe. I'm out of here. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.